In today's Gear Spotlight video, we're gonna take a look at this new pedal. This is the MXR Dookie Drive. Let's check it out. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sam, and in today's video, as promised, I will be bringing you my full review of the MXR Dookie Drive. Now, before I get started, I just want to take a moment to thank all of you guys who have been supporting the channel so far, leaving comments, likes. It really means a lot to me. And if you're new to the channel and like 90s punk rock music, gear-related content, consider subscribing to the channel, ring that bell for notifications, check out my Instagram for gear-related photos, and yeah, let's start with the review. So when MXR first announced this pedal earlier this year in Winter NAMM, I was very interested in picking one up. Obviously, I am a big Green Day fan, and Dookie is probably in my top 5 favorite albums of all time. So this was mostly a sentimental purchase, as I feel that I can nail some of those tones with the amps that I own. But again, the pedal really caught my attention, and I just decided to pick one up for myself. Now let's talk a little bit about the pedal itself. So MXR states that this was actually cloned out of Billy Joe's 2 most famous amps, the Pete and Meat, which are heavily modified Marshall JMP 100 watt heads. Now they say that those were the same amps he used to record Dookie with. I don't know how accurate that is. I've read some stuff online that it was a different Marshall amp that was also heavily modified that he used for the record. But let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say that those were the amps that they claim he used. So the pedal does sound a lot like the Green Day Dookie album. I mean, it nails pretty much every Green Day tone that you can think of. It is scary close to the real deal. I mean, as you've probably heard on one of my videos that I did, which kind of like a sneak peek on the pedal, I did a song medley of some of my favorite Dookie tracks, and it sounded really close. I mean, I was blown away by it. So yeah, it's awfully close to Billy Joe's tone for real. Now let's go over some of the knobs on the pedal. So you got 4 knobs and a button mod type switch, and the coolest knob out here is the blend knob, which really acts as a blend knob for both amps. So if it's set on the center, you're basically having a stereo signal with both amps going at the same time. And if you go to the left, then you'll have more of a Pete sound, and to the right, more of the Meat sound. So that's pretty cool. It's a cool feature. It adds a lot of versatility to the pedal itself. So I typically like to run mine on the Pete side a little bit more, as I find that the Pete side has a little bit more clear tone to it, a little bit more mids, and it just sounds better to my ears and to my style of playing. So it's very cool. But if you want to get it a little bit heavier, obviously you go to the Meat side and you'll have a little bit more of that scoop sound. So it sounds really good both ways, but I either have it right in the center or like probably about 10 o'clock to the Pete side. Next up, you have your output, which is self-explanatory. It just is the master volume for your pedal. I typically have mine right in the center for most stuff. And then moving on to this side, you have a gain knob, which only affects the Meat side of the pedal. So if you want to have more of that overdriving gain, obviously you switch it to the right. But internally, there's 2 internal knobs that you can actually control the output and the gain on the Pete side. So if you want to kind of tailor that and tinker that to however you want your sound to be, then you can do that. But the gain out here only works for the Meat side. And finally, you have a tone knob, which again, very self-explanatory. To the left, you have a little bit more bass response, and to the right, you have a little bit more treble and crunch. So I typically like to run mine somewhere in the center too, or even a little bit more on the bass side. And yeah, the scoop button here, which just adds, decreases the amount of mids on the sound, gives you that scooped kind of metal sound. I'm not a big fan of that knob. I rarely use it, but it can be useful for some people. So, and that's basically it. Very simple layout. The pedal is really cool. It's got the obviously the silk screen art from the Dookie album, so that's pretty nice. And obviously the blue enclosure to represent Billy Joe's blue guitar, I believe. So it's a very nice looking pedal, very good. And let's talk a little bit about the price, because I know a lot of people were kind of complaining of how expensive this pedal is. It retails for $189, and it is not a cheap pedal, but considering that this is I believe it's a limited release pedal, a signature pedal, it can be justified in a way, I guess. MXR makes some really good pedals that are very affordable. So this is one of the most expensive pedals out there, I believe. But if you're a Green Day fan and you want to have like a piece of sort of like a history, then I would say that, $189 ain't that bad. Boutique pedals cost tons more money. This is a very unique pedal, and it's kind of like I said, a very sentimental purchase. So if you are like me that likes, Green Day and this album, then obviously I would consider picking one up. Now, who's this pedal really good for? If you are a pedal junkie and you rely on pedals for your overdrives, and you happen to like Green Day and you like punk rock, then yes, I will definitely consider picking this pedal up and have on your arsenal. I think it's versatile enough for that sort of tone, and not only for Green Day stuff, but you can nail like 90s skate punk or just overdrive tones. You can definitely nail that with this pedal. But if you are a gain amp dependent like myself, then I would consider maybe picking something different, because if you can nail that sort of tone with your amp, then this is sort of it's not really necessary, I think. But again, if you're like Green Day and you want to have a very cool pedal, kind of unique, then yeah, definitely pick it up. Now, I've gotten very good results with the pedal using my clean channel a little bit slightly on the breakup side. I feel that it adds a little bit more character and takes away some of that pedal kind of shrillness to it that I particularly find in most overdrive pedals. When you play them with a very clean amp, I don't like that sort of tone, so I like to keep my clean channel a little bit dirty, and I feel that the pedal just really reacts really well with the amp on that breakup side, as opposed to just a clean channel. Again, this is my personal opinion. Maybe some of you guys might disagree with that. I know some guys make overdrive pedals sound amazing. I'm not very that type of person. Like I said, I rely mostly on the gain of my amps, but I like to have a few pedals here and there to kind of like change the tone a little bit. So I'm glad to have this one. It's cool. But yeah, it really gets close to the sound. So definitely check one out if you are a fan of Green Day and like that kind of Dookie tone. So definitely pick one up. right, guys, so this has been my gear spotlight on the MXR Dookie Drive. I've been having a lot of fun playing this thing. I will continue to feature it on future Green Day covers, so stay tuned for that. And again, as always, if you like 90s punk rock covers and gear related content, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys on the next video. Cheers.